gonna shoot for, I'm gonna try and get all the orders in by the middle to the end of April. And hopefully we'll be able to get some things in so people can have our uniform. Nice, maybe a t-shirt for Boardwalk Astronomy.
Good
I went and talked to the guy at Cavalier Sportswear, and is that one of the t-shirts that is off of the
That's why I just took off my jacket. This one here?
Yeah, is that the one?
This is it.
Okay, that's the one that we're looking at ordering right there. It's screen.
But we want to get that material hopefully. Hopefully they got some.
Well, that's the same, that number right there. I just noticed tonight that number that is on there, 42,000, I think is what it says. That's the same number that he and I looked up when I was there. And I took.
And he says it's that.
Well, he says it's like this, but not as slick.
Yeah.
So let me feel that one.
Tell me if that feels like cotton.
Well, this is a cotton lacquer. I bet you that there's polyester in there.
This is definitely better than this. This is good. This is better than the first t-shirt we ordered where it faded, everything faded off it.
Right.
But it's not really, it's slicker when it was new. I've worn this a lot. I wear it for every event and such like that. But we want to get something that actually stays a wicking material so it actually breathes a little bit better because now it feels just like a cotton shirt. So
well, actually it's supposed to draw. It's supposed to draw.
Was it the polo one? Yeah, that's probably, the third one, what was that, like a yellowish one? This one right here?
That one is that is this shirt here, but a different.
Yeah, this one here is a new one.
That's the heavier one, that's the heavier cotton one. This one here is a different number, let me find out, that's what I was looking for.
Now, the one Chuck's wearing is not on this.
It's not on the sheet.
Because he just kind of picked out.
What number does that say, what number does it say that the shirt is?
420.
This is an ST 650. So, and these are $34 a pop.
Which is pretty close to what that one was too.
And I think that one's 32.
If you click on this,
well, I can tell you right now, I
go to this website, he's got a lot of apparel.
With the insignia. In gray, I mean the.
It's 32. That shirt's 32.
So if I click on pull the shirts, I mean he's got.
Let's see what in here is
He's got it broke down in categories, and he's probably got 10 for each of those categories you see right there. There's a lot of options on this website.
His book of stuff that you can order from is about this thing. Wow. You got like 3 of them.
So I'm sure he's got the t-shirt we want because he had
we just have to go in there and make it. Because he did tell me that would be a little slick like this, but he just said exactly what you said. After a number of washings, it'll revert to like a normal t-shirt.
Yes.
So that's not what we want. So maybe tomorrow afternoon I'll drive out there.
Oh, let me know. I appreciate that. And if you guys were here last meeting, I think when Chuck brought in his jacket, had a little nice little BBAA emblem on it. That is this one in the photo here.
Yeah, the left hand.
We looked it up.
Yeah.
And it was $59.
Well, mine was more because I had a double extra fat one.
Well, we're going to get an updated price list, and then I'll update the website. If you look on there like tonight or something, it's pretty close to what it is.
I sent John an email a couple days ago. Hey, these are the main things we have on our website, and make sure the prices are still valid. And I'm sure that his prices are actually at least $1 less than this, because we wanted to cover the PayPal fee.
Yes.
So we want to be able to cover the PayPal fee / the credit card fee now.
And I averaged it because of what you just said about the. You didn't go through the website, right?
No, I just walked in and said, hey, I want to order these 3 things.
Yep. And see, what I did was I averaged the price because Kayla's shirt, so she's smaller, and then you would have been less. So I took an average.
We have some hats for sale, by the way.
Because they charge by the size of the shirt, or the jacket.
Well, he doesn't charge extra until you start getting into the double extra large, triple extra large. Everything else is the same price.
That's why I'm saying our prices are going to be higher because we
Yeah.
But anyway, if you saw Chuck's jacket, that is the one on here, and
everybody wants a hat.
just if someone wants to order through this, the way this works is you can click on these links and on the pictures here, and it'll take you to his website like it just did for these polo shirts. But that is only so you can see the colors available, the sizes available, and stuff like that. If you want to order it, you order it on our site, right here. You know, you just select what you want, put in the data, and when you click add to cart, it goes through PayPal and does it that way. That way, we know you ordered it. If you go through this, stuff, we don't know.
What do you think?
Sorry.
This one.
You know,
Any questions about clothing? Chuck's gonna get this information because we're gonna submit an order before the end of this month, so everybody has a t-shirt that wants one.
Looks good.
For the boardwalk.
okay.
So, I recommend getting
I like the
two.
blue one better.
What do
You
you
like the
like?
blue one better?
I've gotten two every time.
4 of them now.
Yeah. I've got a lot of BBA shirts, I just wear them all the time now.
Mine's blue.
Between my East Coast Star Party shirts,
So blue
BBA
looks
shirts, and Star
I like
Party
this one the best, that's yours though.
green bank.
Oh, you like that?
And really, I wanted to bring one of the
That
ones
blue
from
blue?
when I was in the Navy.
That's
One of the
big.
cheap ones, so you could see that material and show
No,
them.
I'm not having kids, okay?
I forgot it.
You still, maybe I'll come over, are you gonna be home tomorrow?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come over and get that.
Yeah, if you wanna show them what I'm talking about, yeah. We didn't get it from him, or club didn't, but that's the material we want, because that thing has lasted 10 years.
Maybe we can
Still
do
good.
it together.
Do what?
You can drive up to Greenbrier and I can drive out.
Could do that too. I was wondering why you went to my house.
This is already finished.
Yeah, I
If I
know.
watch that, it'll.
Just start
Mhm.
Let's see,
Let's go.
okay, so when
Oh,
you
you're
get the
welcome.
email about if you want a t-shirt, make sure you don't,
Don't send me any credit card data.
none of us want that, just so you all know. When you submit this stuff like, if you fill in this information right here on this website, you'll notice that there's no data
Yeah,
that's.
it's bigger.
Yeah, I like that.
That someone can hack you right here. When you click add to cart, it's gonna take you to PayPal. That's where you put in that
And then you
stuff.
go to the security. If we get to the position where we're gonna buy it, someone wants to buy some apparel, and then I pay for a credit card, we will make a phone call. And I'll take your credit card information over the phone, and then I can do a manual entry on my little damn.
Yeah, don't send through email, text message.
Because, which brings us to another little subject.
No, that's a
Emails.
big head.
The club officers' emails have been hacked because some idiots, that, you know, they troll the websites and they look for email addresses in anything, right? So it started off about 2 years ago with some troll sending, when Bruce was the treasurer and I was the president, he would send an email to Bruce and it looked like it came from me. I mean, if you hit return, it came up with my email address and everything, right? And he would always say something to the effect, hey, I've got a quick fuse thing, I need you to authorize a payment to blah, 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 right? And if you weren't paying any attention, you might actually believe it, right? But the first one I got, Bruce didn't even know it came, right? Because obviously they didn't copy him. So I was sitting at work when it came, and I watched it come into my webmail, and so I captured it and took it down to our boys, and we did some route tracing and stuff on it, found out that it was an Eastern European origin. So somebody over in Eastern Europe has got blocks of emails, and
Or most was in Eastern Europe at the time, just didn't.
yeah.
We were helping the Ukrainians
Sure.
fight the
How
Russians.
long does it take for this?
Let's do the program.
For what?
For your thing?
I don't know. How much time? I'll be 10 minutes.
We're
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
we're live here.
But anyway,
Oh, wow.
so we
We're live on the internet.
we have somebody that keeps sending us emails. And if anybody wants to see one of the emails, the last one I got, which was yesterday, I don't know if I thought I brought it. They're talking about they caught me doing something really nasty, and that they're gonna send it to my.
They sent the same one to me, that was funny.
Yeah.
Get
Well,
on their website.
this is about the 15th one I found, and I have not sent them $1,000 in Bitcoin, so I really don't think they're gonna.
Did they send it to you too?
They haven't trashed me yet, so it's all just crap. But this was the first ones that came out. You look at that one. Whoops. This one's a little bit more explicit. They're talking about hardcore porn, and that they somehow got a camera on me. And
Look, if Robert Kraft can do it, and you can do
it's
it.
actually it's almost hilarious. I mean, But it's
Yeah.
harmless. They're trying to spoof us into giving up an account number, right? All they have is email address, because that's what they've gotten off the.
His
off the
Bitcoin
internet.
wallet address, that's the launch code.
That's a Trident 5 launch code. But it's harmless. I believe it's harmless. My IT guys where I work, we looked at it and thought, well, these guys are just fishing. They don't have anything, so just don't send anything over email.
A big picture of my
So what Bruce and I had instigated was that whenever we would send an email to one another that actually meant something, we would just include an arbitrary reference.
I was gonna say, don't say what the reference is.
Well, I don't think any
What
of these guys aren't easy to do it. Well, I mean, if you want to, and I generally put some arbitrary reference to the night sky somewhere in the email. We might be talking about the picnic, and then all of a sudden there's a, talk about blue moon or something like that. So
That's a beer.
that's what, yeah. So that's how we were making sure that if we were sending money, data, or talking about money.
I've completely forgotten that.
We had a code to do that. It was just Bruce. I don't know if it's really necessary, because I don't think these guys have a clue really what's going on. I think it's kids is what I think. Because if you read the early emails, the English was so poor, and the grasp of the language was so small. It was just.
I got nailed once by malware, by ransomware, one time. But it's luckily I had put a new program on the Windows machine, and of course it immediately creates it registers that spot.
Right.
So I just said, F you, and went back and just reloaded that last.
Right.
I lost 10 hours. Right.
Well, if this guy was even true, any of this stuff was true, every single one of you guys would have had horrible pictures of me doing something horrible. Because they say that they've captured all your address book and all this other stuff.
Well, don't take pictures, Steph, of things like that.
Well, let's move on so we can
Anyway,
get this thing
that's
done.
what that is. So
Keep your camera aimed
if
up.
you get if you get a screwed up email, if there's a link in it, whatever you do, don't click on it.
Right.
Whatever you do, just delete the freaking email.
Okay.
Because if somebody really hacks you, you'll know it.
The next new business I had was Leanne is requesting members submit articles and photos for club newsletters. So she made these notes. Do you have an observing adventure to share? A creative do-it-yourself or your scope? Do you go to a rocket launch or a space museum and like to share your experience? Maybe you attended your first BBAA event and need to look through a telescope for the first time. If you have any of those things, you can submit your questions, articles, and photos to editor@backbayashore.org. And let's see, last note I have in here was congratulations to our secretary, Kayla. Woo-hoo. She was selected to intern in NASA this summer.
Fantastic.
And since I also follow her on Facebook, she posted some good notes about the process that she went through to get that internship. And she put it on her blog. It's pretty good reading if you're going to go for an internship. You should probably read that one. You're welcome.
Look good on a college application, I'm sure you do.
That's it for the new business. Do we have any observing reports? We got about 10 minutes of observing reports we can take at the most.
Skywatch last time. It was freaking outstanding. We
Yeah,
had about 12, 14 people out there.
That's probably the best sky I've seen out there. It was good.
You know, you still in Northwest River Park, or you?
Yeah, but Bruce would be unhappy at Northwest River Park. Remember, you wouldn't be able to see people's faces. You could just maybe see shapes and
Right.
faces. I could see your face now at Northwest River Park in the
No.
garden.
It would say, but I remember Ted saying, it started. He used to say, it's slowly getting worse.
Yeah, it's not just the prison, it's all the housing. Edinburgh and all the associated stuff down there.
I haven't been out this way. I had my surgery across the way, and I haven't been out this way. And all of a sudden, this whole city popped up at the last stoplight. Where'd that come from? Damn, they build those things fast.
It was still really good observing out there though.
Yeah, we had
It was
really-
definitely the best I've probably ever
So
seen.
where are you now?
Oh, we still go there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we
still
still go
spot.
there for Skywatch, for the public
How
outreach.
about Coinland?
we actually, since you've been coming out, we now have a carte blanche to go to Cornland 2 nights a month.
Super.
And we can be there all night long. They have a very bright parking lot light to keep the kids from necking out there. So you check out the key for the lockbox from the fire station, and you go unlock turn off the circuit breaker and then give the key back, and then you don't
No kidding.
So they put that in, they installed that just for us. So, and the fire station, if you go out there, here's the knowledge, if you go out there and fire station has all their outside lights on, just go over when you get the key for the, circuit box.
From the
lock, from the fire station, cause that's who holds the key. Just ask them very nicely if they can just turn off their outside lights, and they'll do it. It's just a switch one.
That's what used to make, the lake in North Carolina so attractive.
Oh, Pettigrew.
Pettigrew. Pitch black, I mean, truly, with a 2-degree horizon.
Boats.
No, just neighbors once in a while that were drunk, but other than that.
Any other observing reports from anyone?
Other than that sunspot that was on the sun a week or so ago, just before we did this,
Yeah, we saw the trailing edge of
the Friday before our.
No, it was Saturday. It was on
Last
both on
Friday.
Saturday.
Yeah, that
Saturday, Sunday, and then we had Skywash that evening, remember?
That's right, but the Friday before that, the sunspot was actually.
Yeah, it was a better visible.
You could see it, it was huge.
It was, you could see it right on the edge on Saturday, Sunday when we were looking, but even Mel said it was definitely better.
Yeah, it was size reference. If you held your thumb at an arm's length, it was about as big as that part of your thumb. And then there was a real small one later on that we were able to see on Saturday that was about half the size of your little fingernail on the edge. To give you an idea, it was huge.
It's a spot you burn in your mouth, so.
Yeah.
Anyone else? It's been kind of cloudy.
Jupiter was really good in the mornings.
I did see that.
Saturn started to come up.
Did anyone else want to look at that? See all the planets lined up?
Yeah.
Vincent posted about that on Facebook, I saw.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
I'm not heard of more.
But I'm part of the Dawn Patrol. Dawn sent me with that.
I would have liked to see it, but I was realistic. That's not gonna happen.
That's the only thing I can say from my, position in a well-lit downtown Norfolk, is I look right up the western branch of the Elizabeth River. And when when the Portsmouth terminal lights are down and no ship there on a clear night, I can actually see, Polaris, which I couldn't believe it. I said, no, it couldn't be. And I said, yes, it is. And I looked around and I could really have a fabulous view. If I could just get them to turn off all the lights on Bush Street, it'd be fantastic.
For the next hurricane.
Huh?
For the next hurricane, make sure your batteries are charged.
You remember Isabel? We had like 4 days of.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful. Pure. I was like, man, I wish I had more batteries.
My wife, you know what my wife loved? The fact that I had a little 7-inch black and white 12-volt DC TV.
Yeah.
That kept her happy.
Well, I guess, now we'll go into Chuck's demonstration of this new solar filter. I'm looking forward to this.
Every couple of years or so, we put together a solar filter workshop where we build inexpensive solar filters. Now, these aren't hydrogen alpha filters, they're just white light filters or orange light filters, whatever you want to call them. The last couple times we've made them, we've bought the material from a place called Seymour Solar. The material is a little bit more robust than some of the other Mylars, and I'll pass this guy around. But,
Is that it?
yeah, this is the filter. I just had this idea the other day when my wife drugged me to Michael's. And I'm sitting there looking around and I'm like, oh, what the heck is that? And I walked over and it was this hoop for darning and stuff, right? And they had all kinds of different sizes. So I bought a couple of the bigger ones, thinking that I'm gonna try to make a filter to go on. I have a secondhand 10-inch dog from Orion, right? So I came home and I had about a 35 or 40 minute window to play with stuff before I had to go do something else with her. And so I also bought, while we were at Michael's, they had cake plates or cake pan or whatever the hell, pedestals. And they had different sizes of these pedestals. So for like $3, I got 6 of them, okay? So the idea is you cut holes corresponding in each one of the cake plates, and then you put the filter material between there and sandwich it together, and then you use contact cement to glue it together, right? I used Gorilla Glue, because that's what I had in the garage. It hadn't hardened up all the way. And what I did was I spread this out,
To the diameter of your.
I spread this guy out. I was hoping that the screw would be long enough that I could use it to adjust things. But this is, luckily, since this was Michael's, it was a metric screw, so I don't have any metric screws that are longer. So what I ended up having to do is I stretched it out and found out, made a measurement that this is like 2.5 inches or whatever the heck it is that I needed it to be. So I made a little jig to hold the two pieces apart. This piece I just didn't even use. I'm so well prepared because I wanted to return that. Just put that away. And so like my scope, to get around over the nose of my scope, it had to be spread about that much. So I just made a piece of fiberboard block to put in there so that when I put it on here, it would hold it apart. So just put the fiberboard block in between here to hold it open, and then I glued it. And then I put just about, put it down on the table and put 3 cases of water on top of it to hold it. And that was enough of the timing. So I'll pass this around, you can see it. And like I said, it actually only took me about 15 minutes to put it together. And you can see that I didn't do the most cosmetically perfect job.
It took you 10 minutes to describe it.
Yeah, it took me longer to describe it before it took me to do it.
That's real good.
And what I've noticed is that at Michael's, they have these cake plate things in sizes all the way from 6 inches all the way up to 12 or 14 inches. In fact, this was the other possibility I was going to use. This is much thicker stuff, and this was going to be the backup if this didn't work. So I didn't even use these. And I also found out that I think this is a 12-inch. They didn't have them in stock when I was there, but they have all the way up to 14-inch ones of these. So the 14-inch would probably fit my scope, and I'd be able to use the screw. So that might be my next project. But as an idea of how much it costs, if you go on the internet and look to buy a Mylar filter that fits over the end of your scope, like let's say a 6-inch scope, that filter is going to cost you anywhere. The cheapest ones I've seen have been $39, and all the way up to $50-something.
So that has a real cap.
But it'll have a real cap, and it'll have usually have a metal lip and stuff like that. Like I said, all 6 of these guys were like, I want to say $3.98 or $3, maybe $2.98. Let's just say $3 for 6 of them. The hoop was about $2.75, something like that, less than $3. So now we're up to almost $6. Glue, I don't know how much glue is. Probably used about 8 cents worth of glue. The solar filter material, this costs, you can buy it single sheet, 9x12 sheets from Seymour for $14 a sheet, right? That's what we bought it for. Last time we did the solar filter thing, we bought 10 sheets for $140. So I used a half a sheet on that one right there. And this gives, when you look at it, when you put it on your scope and look at it, it gives you a nice orangish view of the sun. It looks orange instead of just white, like pale white.
Cool.
So I think that there are I'm gonna look for hoops that are thicker. Like I think there's some, I don't know what the term is, I'm gonna have to talk to somebody that does needlepoint. But this one is I think a darning or something like that.
Probably got a water edge to it.
Yeah, there's one that I've seen them that have a thicker edge on it like that, which would make it more secure. And with mine, that one fits my scope so tight that I don't need to put any Velcro on it to hold it off or anything like that.
So the wind, you're not worried about the wind.
Wind isn't going to move that.
Cool.
As long as no kid grabs it and moves it, it should be okay. But if I found one that had that was wider in this measurement, then I could always put a little piece of Velcro on it, Velcro it to the edge of the tube to make sure that it doesn't come off, so we don't have an accident that would burn somebody's retina out. But
That's right, that's why
with
I
this-
can replace them, remember?
With this, I mean, I could work up a set of instructions on how to do it, so you could just go buy the parts at Michael's or one of these other, like, I have another friend at work told me, go check Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby may have a bunch of stuff too, because they do have a bunch of.
When you compare the ease and the cost compared to the way we did it last time at that workshop,
Way easier.
is the cost about the same even?
Yeah, it's probably actually even cheaper, I think.
Really?
Cause well, on the way that we did the last ones, we had to go buy, we bought fiberboard, you know, the thick fiberboard from Michael's, and that was more expensive than this cardboard. And, we used round, insulation round, it was about an inch around. That was pretty inexpensive, but we had to, you know, you had to measure it and get it just right, so because of the fact that we used the fiberboard, it was probably a couple bucks more. Plus it was more involved with making sure everything was right. If you got one of these, it happened to actually fit the right size, you could put it on and then tighten this down. That's what I'm hoping the 14-inch will allow me to do. And the smaller the scope you get, like if you get down to a 6-inch scope, you could make a full aperture filter with a single sheet for $14, right? And I'm thinking with that one, you might even be able to just stretch the material and actually use the hoop thingy, you know, and make something like that. But haven't investigated that yet. But always on the hunt for.
Have you had it out in the wind?
Yeah, I had it out on last weekend. We had one day on Sunday, I think it was, or it was Sunday when I made it. So Sunday afternoon, we had some gusts, and it's believe me, it's not coming off.
That's
That
was my
it
main
almost
complaint with the old
snaps
one.
on. It almost snaps on, right? And you could always make it a lot easier if you trimmed it. If you did a nice job and was very careful, you could trim it around the wood, right? So it's a closer fit, so there's less for the wind to grab, right? The only thing that I noted about the cake pans here is they have this little center perforation here in the center.
Oh, I was wondering.
That's why I have a little piece of black duct tape on it to make sure that nobody doesn't accidentally poke. I just see looking through this or having somebody look through it, some little kid up on the front on a stronger day, what's this? And poke that through, and by the time he pulled his finger out, your retina would be gone. So we're always thinking about safety, because I don't want to.
I used to tell the kids, the finger on the lens means the finger is mine.
Not the last Skywatch, but the last Skywatch that we had that was successful. I tell everybody that, I usually tell everybody, you know, don't grab the scope, blah, blah, blah. I said, you can't hurt it, you'll just move it, right? Well, this little kid proved me wrong. It would have been, I think, the January Skywatch or the December one that we had. That little sucker broke my freaking finder scope, or my single lens reflected, you know, my easy finder thing, like a Telluride, just ripped it right off the scope. I mean, it was plastic, but he just ripped it right off the scope. So,
So what did mother and father do?
oh, we're sorry, you know. It's like,
Did they
well,
reach for their wallet?
No,
Oh,
I mean,
I wanted to make sure they were normal.
You're talking on your 10-inch, right?
this is,
On the 10
this was on this is on the 18-inch.
Oh.
Yeah, so, I have replaced it. I used a tactical shotgun shot, so single
Aimed at
reflex.
the
No, it doesn't. It's just a red dot. But I bought them for my shotgun, right? And I found that a certain model that I bought for my shotgun wasn't really quite sturdy enough for all the action. You know, the jarring from the shotgun knocked the lens loose in one of them. So I had one that was still okay, and I just ended up. I went to Scope Stuff and found a dovetail adapter that fits the Orion Cinta shoe.
Yeah.
It fits that, and then the other side is the same thing as a for for mounting a scope on like an AR.
My wife wants to,
I was searching for that.
my wife wants to know, how did I end up with all these drawers full of
parts.
Where all this stuff
I
come from?
got tons of parts too. But the problem is this part, every one of those parts costs $30, you know, or 40.
I know.
But anyway, the scope stuff sells the Picatinny rail that fits into the Cinta, and that was like $30. But then I could put this guy on there. There ain't no way. Heck, if somebody yanks that off, I'll be killing them. So that's all I had.
Very good. Bravo.
Thank you, Chuck.
I appreciate it, because I know what to do. How many of those sheets you got left? We need to order some more?
I don't know. Let's see how many we got. I think there's only 2 full sheets left.
You guys need one, Mark. The telescope, like, dude.
There's 2 full sheets, and I think there's a half sheet somewhere. Yeah, and 2 half sheets. So.
And you really don't need a full sheet, do you?
Oh, no, because, you know, you figure, if you're gonna do a deal like this where you're gonna cut a window out,
Mm-hmm.
I could have easily, the filter that I made at Dale Carey's filter making party 15 years ago,
Yeah.
I used a quarter of a sheet.
Yeah, you don't want,
To
you
make it,
just
you
want
don't
a
have to
window.
have too much.
Just a little window.
This one's actually pretty bright,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so.
I did read online though, the bigger you can make it, you will have better resolution, like of sunspots and stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, if you have a 10-inch telescope and you make, because on mine, we did make like a 3-inch
Right.
one. I want to try a full sheet next time.
Right, well, the problem is a full sheet,
I know we'll cover the whole thing, but.
That's
dude,
where,
there is some place.
that's
where
where
you
how
can buy-
Ronnie-
you can
Ronnie
buy
gets your money.
A 10 by 12 sheet like this, you can buy a large sheet. like
Okay.
that. But I can't remember where it was. I don't know if these guys still have it, so if anybody wanted to buy some,
Scope stuff sells.
sell some of this
I think
too.
Scope stuff sells that.
Do they?
I think they do.
Well, this is, you can feel how thick this is. Please don't pull
no,
the coating off.
no, that's substantial.
But it's more than the
Mhm.
filter that I made, that I was
Good.
talking to Bruce about, that we made at Dale Carey's house 15 years ago. It is barely thicker than
Yeah, it was
the
right.
sleaziest tinfoil.
I was
you could
ready for
buy.
that to fall apart. I was really
Yeah, I've
scared.
still got mine and it still works, but it's awful bright. It's
The,
lost some of its.
The one that I've had for years and years and years, I have a 5-inch that I got for my Sutov, and damn, the thing just lasts forever. But the reason is, it's got a glass panel in front of it.
Right.
And
If you wanna take pictures and stuff like that, one of those glass substrated panels are the way to go.
But I mean, I just keep it in its own little case, and it's always there.
And like, what I'm gonna do with this guy is, next time I go get a pizza from my favorite pizza place, I'm just asking for an extra pizza box, it's empty. And put it in there, cause when we did
You better order a pizza.
one of the, yeah. One or two, not the last one, but the one before that, Jim Tallman, we held the thing at his house. He went down to these Papa John's and gave him, I don't know, I think he gave him $10 and they gave him like 30 boxes. Yeah. So we had boxes to go with all the solar filters that we made.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
That was a busy workshop because we did solar filters and soldering for dew strip heaters.
Yeah.
You know,
It was a good workshop
it
though.
was. But the funniest thing about it was watching the NASA engineer trying to solder Paul Partini.
There are
He
basic
was rubbing
skills.
his fingers, he
There are
was
basic-
melting and stuff. Come on, Paul, you're a NASA, you're a rocket scientist. What's the deal here? You can't solder?
He's never built a heat kit before.
Yeah, he'll never live that down. But he's funny. I mean, in fact, the first time he turned it on, he was like a fuse because he shorted the wires.
God, that's funny.
Does anyone have anything else to add? Cause we're at past 9 now.
My bedtime.
Alright, go meeting adjourned.